To date, we have struck over 7,000 targets across Iran and its military infrastructure. That is not incremental. That is overwhelming force applied with precision. And again, today will be the largest strike package yet, just like yesterday was. As I have said from day one, our capabilities continue to build. Iran's continue to degrade. We are hunting and striking death and destruction from above. At an American military base in the United Arab Emirates, work on the AH-64 Apache attack helicopters does not stop. Ground crews refuel the aircraft and reload their weapon systems around the clock. This base is the primary launch point for American pilots flying into the Strait of Hormuz to destroy Iranian Shahed drones that have been attacking U.S. bases, allied positions, and oil tankers transiting the waterway. After resupply is complete, some of the Apaches lift off and fly to naval vessels in the Gulf, where they land on the flight decks and wait on standby. Others head directly into the strait to patrol. The rotation is constant, helicopters going out, helicopters coming back, helicopters waiting on ships. When Iranian drones appear on radar, the information reaches the ship first. Radar operators in the Combat Information Center detect the contacts, classify them as hostile, and immediately relay the data to the Apache crews on standby, either on the ship's deck or already airborne in the patrol zone. The order goes out. Pilots on the deck start their engines and lift off within minutes. Those already in the air turn toward the threat. The Apaches close on the drones and engage, shooting them down before they can reach their targets. After completing the mission, some helicopters return to the ships to reload and refuel for the next alert. Others fly back to the land base in the UAE for a full turnaround. On the ground, maintenance crews perform a complete rearm. The 19-round Hydra 70 rocket pods are reloaded. These are unguided rockets, and each Apache carries up to 4 pods for a total of 76 rockets per helicopter. The pods are slid onto the stub-wing pylons and locked in. Each rocket is checked before the pod is sealed. The 30mm chain gun ammunition drum under the nose is refilled with a fresh belt of high-explosive rounds, the same ammunition used to shred drones at close range. Then the AGM-114 Hellfire missiles are mounted onto the rail launchers on the stub wings. These are laser-guided anti-tank missiles capable of destroying heavily armored vehicles, bunkers, and larger targets. Each missile is slid onto the rail, the electrical connectors are plugged in, and the mounting is secured. The helicopter is fully loaded and ready to fly again. At a desert airstrip nearby, an American C-17 lands and taxis to the unloading area. On board is another AH-64 Apache delivered as a replacement to ensure that patrol coverage over the Strait of Hormuz is not interrupted. Transporting a helicopter inside a cargo aircraft requires partial disassembly, and the unloading process begins immediately. Soldiers and ground crew first pull out the crates and containers holding the parts that were removed for transport: rotor blades, tail rotor assembly, stub wings, weapons pylons, avionics fairings, and crates of rockets and Hellfire missiles. Everything is carried or rolled off the ramp by hand and by cart. Then the helicopter itself is pulled out of the cargo bay without its rotor blades, with its landing gear unlocked. The Apache is rolled down the ramp manually. It takes a large crew to maneuver the airframe off the aircraft and onto the tarmac. Every step is done carefully to avoid damaging the sensors, weapon systems, or airframe. Once the Apache is off the C-17, it is hooked up to a military tow vehicle. The crates of parts and ammunition are loaded into the same vehicle and onto a flatbed behind it. The convoy drives across the airstrip to the assembly area where the mechanics get to work. Rotor blades are attached and secured. The tail rotor is mounted and the drive shaft connected. Stub wings are bolted on and the weapons pylons installed. Avionics panels are reconnected and tested. Rockets are loaded into the pods. Hellfires mounted on the rails. The chain gun ammunition drum filled. The mechanics run through the full checklist: hydraulics, electrical, flight controls, engine systems, weapon systems. Once everything checks out, the Apache is cleared for flight. Meanwhile, on a ship in the strait, the combat alarm sounds again. Radar has picked up a new wave of Iranian drones heading toward the formation. An Apache already on the deck spins up its engines. The rotor reaches operating speed and the helicopter lifts off. It climbs fast, turns toward the incoming threat, and moves to intercept. The pilot acquires the targets on the onboard sensors, lines up the gun, and fires. The drones are hit and go down. The pilot confirms the kills, reports the engagement to the ship, and the information is relayed to the command center. Target destroyed, mission confirmed. The Apache circles back to its patrol station and waits for the next alert. The cycle continues.